It's been a really long time, hasn't it? Yeah, I'd say so. Before I even start this video, I do want to apologize for the background noise. The one day that I finally get inspired to make one of these videos is the day that my neighbors are moving out. The school bus is dropping off kids. Maybe the Amazon delivery. They're backing it up. Would you back that ass up? Anyways, to the point of this video, I thought I could do a little mukbang slash story time slash share time of my experience working at a store that is a retail store that is red. I don't know if I can. It's Target. I work at Target. I currently work at Target. So this is just going to be like my experience getting hired and the experience I've had working there so far. Right now, I'm on COVID leave because I got COVID. It's not fun, but with all this free time on my hands and being away from work, I thought, why not talk about work? So I'm gonna do that, and I'm also gonna eat. I got a burrito supreme from Taco Bell. This is it. Funny story, since I'm on COVID leave, I don't even want to show my face near work. I'm like, y'all don't need to see that I'm alive outside of work. But as I was driving home, one of the managers in the store drove past me. So I was like, oh, okay, well, they know I'm alive. But anyways, let's get started with eating because I'm hungry. So I've been working at Target for over a year now. I got hired as a seasonal employee, and my hiring process was very difficult and frustrating, and I don't think it's like that for any other store or frankly any other employee that I've met. So I would share that with you. So like I said, I got hired for seasonal. I applied so many times before I actually got hired. And this last time that I applied for literally any department. I checked all the boxes and said that I was willing to learn. So I got an email saying that I got an interview. And in my interview, I met with the store director, and they ask you basic interview questions like, name a time where you had to problem solve, name a time where you had to think on your feet, what's your greatest strength, what's your greatest weakness, and obviously for the weakness question, you want to give them like an answer that sounds good. So I said, my greatest weakness is that I'm hard on myself when I don't do well, which is true. That's what I said. And so after the interview, I got the job, but things get tricky. So let me take a bite and then I'll explain. So a while after my interview, I still hadn't got a call back, but eventually I did, and it was HR saying, you missed your orientation date. We've called you several times and you didn't answer. So this is just like a courtesy call. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. some other Targets, they'll have ship from store. My store doesn't have that. So all I did was OPUs or fulfillment. And toward the end of the seasonal period, I was so nervous about being kept. I was 100% convinced I was not going to be kept because I'm hard on myself. So I was like, this is not going to be a future for me. Like, this is it. I need to start looking for another job. Because when I started Target, I was also working at a pizza place. And I was in school. So I was working 2 jobs and I was in school, and I had quit my other job to focus on Target, obviously, because the pay was so much better. I was being paid minimum wage at the pizza place, but being paid $15 an hour at Target. Hello. I'm gonna quit the pizza place. But yeah, toward the end of the seasonal period, I was so convinced I wasn't gonna be kept. Got a Pepsi. They tried to hand me a Baja Blast, and don't get me wrong, I love a Baja Blast, but I was in a Pepsi mood today. So I went up to one of my favorite leaders, that's what we call managers, and I was talking to her, and I was like, do you think I'm going to be kept? Like, I really love working here, especially working with her and another one of the leaders. They were my favorite. And she said, I think you're going to be kept. I'm going to put in a good word for you. I think you're a really good employee. And I was like, you're going to make me cry. And I got kept. It was never like an official sit down thing where they were like, we're keeping you. We value you as an employee. It was just like, oh, I'm continuing to be scheduled. Cool. And then after I was fully kept, I was a full employee. I pretty much no longer did beauty. I would get the occasional beauty shift every now and again, but I haven't had a beauty shift in like over 9 months, which I think I'm okay with. I kind of prefer fulfillment, but after, being kept and working exclusively in fulfillment, my personal team lead, the leader of fulfillment, had offered me like a captain position, which doesn't have a pay raise but has more responsibility. And she even like hinted at making me a leader of fulfillment, which was a big deal for me because I've never been promoted in any job I've ever had, which might be saying something about my work ethic, but I've never worked harder at a job than I've worked at Target. Maybe it's because it's $15 an hour, so I kind of want to work harder, but nothing really ever came of that. But it was nice to be recognized. It kind of sucks that nothing came of it, but also looking within myself, I'm still a full-time student. I don't work enough hours to be a leader. It was nice to be recognized by a team leader who I think is amazing, and to even be considered for that. So that was really awesome. A little bit about working at Target is that you're going to be stressed. If you're considering working at Target, you're probably not going to have fun. I mean, it is a job, so to expect to have fun, especially if it's not in your like desired career path, it's kind of setting yourself up for disappointment. But it's very stressful, especially in fulfillment. With the pandemic going on, many people would prefer to do order pickup versus coming in the store. so stressful. Black Friday wasn't that bad this year compared to last year. The Christmas, luckily the time that I was hired last year, or I guess 2 years ago, because it's 2022 now, was around Christmas time. Like I said, I was hired for a seasonal position, so I was hired around Christmas. I got trained in fulfillment during Christmas, so I kind of, jumped in head first. And I felt kind of bad for the seasonal team members this time around, being like, oh, strap in, buddy. You're in for a nightmare, because that's what it is. It is a nightmare. I find fulfillment to be really satisfying. I like organizing things, so picking items off shelves and putting them in my cart and kind of organizing them, and I really like that. So, kind of talking about fulfillment-related stress, we have an hour and a half to pick orders, and they want us to pick at least 30 items per order. And sometimes I'll jump into, orders that are smaller than that, and sometimes I'll go crazy, go stupid, and I'll jump into orders that have like 60 items with like an hour, because like I said, you have an hour and a half to do it. But even if you don't jump into the orders, that time is still going down, so it's important that you jump into them. And that's where some of the stress comes from with fulfillment, is what it feels like lack of time. I don't think I've ever missed a goal or, put in an order late to like run out of time. I don't think I've ever done that. Actually, that's a lie. This past summer, my store caught on fire. It caught on fire. So while they were rebuilding it, we had to go to different stores in the area. And the store that I got transferred to, and I thought weird fellow. I'm sure he was sweet, but dude, boundaries. Because I live on the internet, I live on twitter.com. I call pretty much every guy